Welcome to the RadioU podcast. Coming up, a classic soda is making a comeback with more caffeine.
Also, am I finally becoming an NHL fan?
All that and more on the way next. We may have the answer to another unsolved mystery. 8772 RadioU. We have often wondered as people, how did the Easter Island heads get to where they are? Like where Squidward lives?
Yep.
How did those heads, which do exist on an island, an isolated island off the coast of Chile, how did they get to where they are? They're big, they're heavy.
Yeah.
And we might finally know the answer. Scientists have just performed an experiment. They did this in the real world to test it out, where basically what they found was that if they attach ropes in the right way, that as few as 18 people could kind of like just take turns like moving the ropes to kind of walk the Easter Island head to its destination. And they said with 18 people, it could move over 300 feet in 40 minutes without reels, rollers, or sleds.
Wow.
Finally, the mystery has been solved.
The mystery has been solved. And I think we've all kind of known with these ancient things, whether it be the heads at Easter Island or the pyramids in Egypt, that it was just a mass force of manpower that was getting this stuff done. Mm-hmm. But it took so much time. I think that's what we maybe don't realize. Like in our society, in our world today, we're so used to instant gratification. We're so used to things being done quickly.
Yeah.
Even
the
though
Empire State Building, even like 100 years ago or whatever, was built in like a year or something.
Right.
Like it just popped right up.
And buildings, houses, roads, all of these things, even though construction, we look at it and we're like, man, this construction's taken too long.
It seems like it never ends.
Yeah. Like we just saw a massive bridge here in Ohio get built on the highway, and the engineering behind it blows my mind. Mm-hmm. And we look at that and it was, it took almost a year, if not more, to get built. But what we're talking about here with like Easter Island or Egypt, we're talking about decades of time that they actually took, generations to move this stuff, to make this stuff. And so we're not used to that in our modern setting for something to take quite that long.
Yeah.
But that's how they were able to do this stuff.
Yeah. Well, what else were they going to do?
Right.
They got to fill their time with something. There was no phones.
Yeah.
They were on a remote island where, I feel like they must have gotten there in the first place. So it's not like, would it be possible, I suppose, to leave and go to the mainland or whatever?
Yeah.
But also, like, that people didn't do that. You just stayed on this island. There's not a lot going on the island. And so you got to fill your time somehow. And so it was slowly carving these massive heads out of stone, these 4-ton heads out of stone. And then slowly and surely, everybody on the island teaming up, grabbing a rope and walking it until it finally got to where they want it, which I recently learned. I don't think this is new information, but it was new to me, that the reason that they think the heads are where they are is because it signaled where it was safe to drink water.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I don't remember all of the details, but like it's an island, right?
Yeah.
But you're surrounded by salt water. It's in the ocean, but there are places where water would come out of the island and connect to the ocean.
Oh.
But if you got your water from there, it was safe because it wasn't salt water.
Yeah, it's fresh water.
Seems like there would have been a simpler way to denote that than 4-ton heads that took years to create and move, but that's what they did.
That's what they did. And honestly, that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I do think Easter Island heads are really cool. And if it wasn't for these people back in history doing this, the Rapa Nui people, where would Squidward live?
Exactly.
But SpongeBob would be completely different.
Totally different and not as fun, in my opinion.
Definitely not. It was a great moment last night. The Yankees lost. Yes. They're eliminated from the playoffs.
Woohoo!
And I loved the interaction between David Ortiz, Big Papi, possibly my favorite baseball player of all time, on the Fox postgame show, interviewing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays, who just absolutely destroyed. Like, he had a great series against the Yankees.
He did.
and they both sit there and go back and forth going, the Yankees lose, in the similar same iconic fashion of John Sterling, the former Yankees broadcaster.
Yes.
That always used to say the Yankees win.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
I love that because even though obviously they didn't play for the same team, Ortiz played for the Red Sox and obviously Vladdy plays for the Blue Jays. I think they all have a similar goal, which is to see the Yankees lose, particularly in the playoffs. So it comes as a sweet treat for both of these guys to see the Yankees lose like this.
Yeah, and I just love in sports when it seems that when the players feel like they're on your side, you know what I mean? Like it's not just a job to them where there's some emotion. And so the idea that Vladimir Guerrero was like, it's not just about the Blue Jays winning, but also about taking out the Yankees and feeling good that you got to do that.
Right.
I love that.
Right. Well, because, obviously division rivals, not as big of a rivalry as Red Sox Yankees, but still a division rival, and you want to see them go down. And so that just makes this victory for the Blue Jays even sweeter. Their first ALCS appearance since 2016, which I remember very well because that was when they lost to the Cleveland Indians when the Indians made it to the World Series. So they're going to be looking to do something they haven't done in a long time.
Yeah. And it's crazy, the Blue Jays season, too, even getting to the ALCS. At the beginning of this year, Vladimir Guerrero didn't have a contract, and it was like, are they going to wind up trading him and, like, tearing this all down and starting over? Because every year it seemed that the Blue Jays were a team that was they were willing to spend a lot of money. They were trying to bring in guys and trying to compete, and it never seemed to work out.
Right.
Particularly last year, they did not have a good season.
No.
And so it was like, how long can we keep doing this with this core of players? And Vladimir Guerrero may or may not re-sign here. And they got him to re-sign, and this year's gone so perfectly for them. And so I'm happy for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, me too. It's clicking for them because I feel like every year when you see MLB predictions, the Blue Jays are right there at the top because they have everybody in the lineup that you would think this should be a World Series contending team. And yet, as you've said, it just has not come together for them for so many years, but finally it is. And so, I might start to cheer a little bit for the Blue Jays, but in all honesty, if the Mariners make it to the ALCS, which they've got a big Game 5 coming up against the Tigers, I think tomorrow, I'll still be cheering for the Mariners. But if the Tigers beat the Mariners, I'll definitely be cheering for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I gotta support Canada. I don't think there's anybody else I could cheer for the rest of the playoffs.
Right.
It's got to be the Blue Jays for me. If you've ever thought, I wish finding a job was more like Tinder, I have good news for you. 8772 RadioU. There's a app for that.
Oh, boy.
Literally, it's called Source, and this is, they call themselves Tinder for jobs.
Why am I not shocked by this? Why does this just sound normal to me?
I know. You know what? Can I say I'm open to the idea? Even.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll let you know that the internet doesn't seem to be as kind to this as maybe I feel, but I do understand the complaints. But the idea is instead to try to save you time, what you would do is you'd get the Source app. It's Source, but with no U. You upload your resume into the Source app, and then it will show you jobs that you would swipe left or right on, just like if you were on a dating app. If you swipe right, it will use your resume and kind of configure it to focus on that specific job, use AI to do this, and send it off and apply and write a cover letter for you and everything to whatever jobs you swipe right on, so that you're able to go through jobs quicker and apply without it having to be a whole hassle every single time.
Wow.
That's a pretty good sell to me.
I was going to say, applications are never fun. So if you are like making it a lot easier for you to apply to a job, like just not as complicated, that does sound like a nice little hack there.
And what are they, like the biggest thing about applying to jobs, or at least one big thing, especially if you're like, more career oriented, where like you're trying to advance through a field, is that you need to specifically like tailor your resume with all this the scanning software that's used on resumes.
Yep.
you need to make your resume match the specific way they have it worded in the job description without it being so close that they think you just copied the job description.
Yeah.
Seems like AI would be great for that.
Yep.
But then the flip side is then you're also thinking AI is scanning all this on the other side. So really, at the end of the day, it's just AI applying to jobs from AI, and then AI rejects you or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think the other problem, one of the criticisms is, if you make it so easy for people to apply to jobs, the employers that are looking for jobs or looking to hire people are already overwhelmed with resumes, which is why they have this resume scanning software.
Yeah.
And so now they're going to be even more overwhelmed because it's going to be too easy.
Yeah. Now there's too many applications. Yeah. So it'll be just them, using what you said, the AI technology to kind of summarize applicants, and then it'll be like, all right, give me the top 3 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how all hiring processes work, but I would imagine for bigger companies, they're using things like that just to help them get through a lot of applicants.
Yeah. And so I don't know what the answer is, because there's some aspects of this that I like, although, again, there's a lot of people online that seem to definitely not like it.
Yeah.
And partly just because you start mentioning AI and anything, and people are like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the answer is to making the job application process, the hiring process easier, but it definitely is too difficult at this time. It's ridiculous how hard it is to go through the needle in a haystack of finding a job that you even want to apply for.
Yeah.
Is a nightmare.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like the whole process is very flawed, as people point out in, their commentary on this particular app. They're like, it's already flawed, and they feel like this doesn't help. It just kind of makes it worse, because the AI thing, a lot of people have viewed that as already a problem, with the whole AI just processing through a bunch of resumes instead of actually a hiring manager looking through resumes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that AI, if it's just scanning, the job scanning software is going to miss.
It's going to miss it, yeah.
That a real person could actually catch and pick up on. So it's, I feel like everybody's kind of losing in this scenario.
Right.
And
you can feel like you're kind of behind the 8 ball if you're looking for a job right now.
Yeah, and in some fault, but not completely fault of the people that are hiring for jobs.
Yeah.
It's just not a good situation for anybody right now. But I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. We're already, I almost think, too far in to turn back.
Yeah. I mean, the solution eventually is just human connection once again.
Yeah.
But when will we get there?
I don't know.
Could they just come up with like an AI app that helps you have a human connection? A challenger to Dr. Pepper is emerging. Coke is bringing back, although I don't know if it ever left, but they're bringing back a new version of the drink Pibb.
Oh.
Sometimes known as Mr. Pibb, sometimes known as Pibb Extra. Coke's version of Dr. Pepper. Coke is about to start really promoting this hard and putting it back out into the world with an all-new formula.
Looks like on the can that I'm seeing here, it does say Mr. Pibb.
They're going back to calling it Mr. Pibb.
Yeah.
The classic.
That's a good move, in my opinion, for the Coca-Cola brand to bring something like this back.
Yeah, so the idea, there's actually a whole saga that goes into this. Mr. Pibb is Coke's version of Dr. Pepper, but it hasn't really been in the forefront of soda for a while.
Right.
Because Coke's distributors have been distributing Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper, I don't know how this all came into place in the first place, but Dr. Pepper just recently won a lawsuit to distribute itself on its own again. So now Coke is not getting that sweet Dr. Pepper money anymore. And there's a lot of money there. Apparently, Dr. Pepper is the second most popular soda behind Coke. It's more popular even than Pepsi.
Wow. Pepsi's got to be like, man, we just can't win over here.
Yeah, which is deranged to me, too, because Dr. Pepper is not nearly as good. But
what? I like Dr. Pepper.
I don't like Dr. Pepper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you did.
No, Dr. Pepper, it's, what has it got, 23 flavors?
Yeah.
It's too many. Too many. There's
actually, now I think I have heard you say that.
Yeah. So Coke is trying to earn back some of the money that it's now losing because it can't distribute Dr. Pepper anymore.
Yeah.
What's the best way to do that? your own version of
Make
Dr.
your
Pepper,
own.
which is Mr. Pibb, which they've had in different iterations for going back quite a long time. But obviously, it's never been nearly as big as Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't have to be as big, but it can help them earn back a little chunk of the slice of pie that they're losing because they don't get to distribute Dr. Pepper anymore.
Right. So now any place that has like Coke fountains, they can add
It's possible.
Mr. Pibb
You
to
might
that.
see it. I don't
You
know.
know?
Yeah, at McDonald's, at
Wendy's.
maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely at Wendy's. Yeah,
with
it's
the
totally got to be in the
machine,
freestyles.
you know?
And this new version, you're going to love this. The new reformulated version of Mr. Pibb features increased caffeine.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice to hear.
And unless you're drinking Sprite, when you're drinking soda, you want some caffeine.
Exactly. I do not get the appeal of Sprite because I'm like, at that point, you're just drinking sugar and calories. If there's no caffeine, there's no point.
Exactly.
I get maybe it's for the kids, let the kids drink it so they're
Yeah.
not getting caffeine. But yeah, for an adult, no reason in my opinion
Yeah,
to be
so
drinking Sprite.
If you're going to have caffeine, amp it up. Amp up that caffeine, and that's what they're doing with Mr. Pibb, which is coming back. So watch out for the new version of Mr. Pibb hitting shelves sometime later this year, and it looks like some variants might be coming next year.
All right.
If we're lucky. A once beloved store that's been closed for some time is making a comeback just in time for the holidays. 8772 Radio U. Everybody make your guess real quick. What store is it that's coming back? It's Toys R Us.
Oh, yeah.
And this sounds like a pretty big comeback for Toys R Us.
Okay.
Obviously, a huge toy store across the country, very popular, going back
At
to like
least
the
it
90s.
used to be.
Yeah. Now, Toys R Us has been closed, by and large, for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Toys R Us hasn't really been operating, but they are about to open up 10 flagship locations by the end of 2025.
Whoa.
Yeah, 10 like real serious stores are going to be opening up, serious Toys R Us locations, and then another 20 seasonal pop-up shops will open this year as well.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. So
That's a lot.
But I understand how Amazon and online shopping killed a lot of stores in person, but I feel like Toys R Us makes sense to still exist. Don't you? Isn't it kind of crazy that it ever went out of business?
I honestly think the same. I remember, though, going to Toys R Us, I always felt like it was a little expensive.
Yeah,
a
for
little
sure.
out of my family's budget.
Even as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it was, though? It was because my parents said that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My parents set the standard, but I just felt like anytime I went to Toys R Us, it was like we weren't really getting anything because it was a little out of our budget.
When we went to Toys R Us, though, and this is why so many people love it, it was a treat.
Yes.
It was like if you went to Toys R Us, your parents can't take you into Toys R Us and not get you anything.
Right.
And so that it was exciting.
Yeah.
And the world of toys and
that's-
video games that you got to choose from.
That's what I was going to say was like the reason why I think it's odd that it went out of business is because, it's much better to take kids to like a place where they can go and look at the toys and see and have fun and run around the aisles rather than like shopping online. Kids don't want to shop online as far as I know, like little kids. Maybe as they're getting like into their middle school teen years, they're fine with shopping online. But like when they're young, they want to have the hands-on experience. They want to be in the store and that's a part of the magic.
Yeah, and so I think part of the wisdom of what they are doing in bringing back Toys R Us is that putting it in, it looks like a lot of the locations, if not all of them, are going to be in malls.
Okay, so they're
And
trying to
so-
revive the malls again?
Yeah, and these are
Wow.
mall, at least, okay, one of the malls I am familiar with because it's in Maryland, and it's a mall it's not a dead mall.
That's good.
It's a mall that's still alive and thriving.
There's
and
a
so
few of those
there's-
still
Yeah.
around. I know here in Ohio we've got a couple or near us that are still thriving.
Right. It's just, malls aren't what they used to be, but
No.
also when you reduce the amount of malls and every city has one instead of three, which is too many,
Right.
then there's still stuff you go to the mall for. And so if you're a family with kids and you're going to you're going to the mall and then you walk by Toys R Us, it's like your kids are gonna be like, let's go into
Yeah.
Toys R Us. And so and then you're gonna wind up buying something. And I think, and then there's gonna be the people that are nostalgic for it that are excited to have it back. So I'm glad that Toys R Us, especially around the holidays, is going to be making its way back to 10 cities around the U.S. and then with permanent flagship stores, it looks like, and then another 20 that are just around for the holidays.
Nice.
Yeah.
I approve of this. I like this, that this is making a comeback.
Yeah, me too. I don't even need toys, but
I don't either. It's just nostalgic to think about that Toys R Us can be around.
Want to wander around one for a little bit. Although that also kind of sounds a little creepy now that I'm saying it out loud. First to worst is where Allie and I have a topic. We get to choose our first, as in the best from that topic, and the worst from that topic. And then you decide which of us chose better and where we just missed, where you disagree completely. 8772 RadioU. This week's topic, Saturday Night Live characters.
Yeah.
The 51st season of recurring characters. Yes. The 51st season of Saturday Night Live kicked off this past weekend, so it just makes sense to do something Saturday Night Live related. These are characters, not cast.
Yep.
And these are characters that need to have shown up routinely more than once.
More than once.
Allie, you have the floor with the first pick.
All right. For my first pick, as in this is my favorite recurring character, I have to go with Chris Farley as Matt Foley.
Ooh, good choice.
Living in a van down by the river. That's one of my favorite skits. If we were doing skits, I might have to choose that one as my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
A little SNL history here for you. Bob Odenkirk wrote that initial sketch.
Wow.
And he says continually when he's asked about it that he views that sketch, writing it, as the pinnacle of his career. And I love that. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. I just love how David Spade is trying to hold on for dear life, trying to keep it together. And that's probably my favorite era of SNL as well. For worst, it was really hard for me to find a worst because I feel like if it's a recurring character, there's something about it that just works and is funny for it to be recurring. But I went with a more recent recurring character that I just personally didn't find that funny. I think there's elements that could be funny, but it's just like, for me, it doesn't quite click. And that's the acting coach that's played by Marcelo Hernandez. It's not that it's bad. It's just like, if you're not in Hollywood or in New York auditioning for stuff, it doesn't quite click for the regular everyday person.
Sure.
So some of the
little
jokes,
inside the beltway, some might
it's
say.
a little too SNL. It's like inside baseball for SNL. And so for me, it's just like, it's not the best. But it's recurring. I think it's happened at least 3 times now. And I'm like, come on, SNL, you're riding this a little too hard.
Yeah. All right. Solid picks. For me, though, my first is obvious. If you know me, this is the one that I think about the most and I probably quote the most, and that is Debbie Downer.
Yes.
By the way, it's official. I can't have children. Kills me every time. And maybe it's extra meaningful to me because I know people that are like that. And I think we all do, which is what adds to the humor of it. So Debbie Downer, played by Rachel Dratch, is my favorite Saturday Night Live recurring character, although there's many great choices.
Yeah.
My worst choice is going to be also a more recent one, and that is Baby Yoda on Weekend Update.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen this one.
Well, I would avoid it because it's... It's like, I mean, obviously we all know what we think of when we think of Yoda.
Yeah.
But then their idea with Baby Yoda is we'll have him on Weekend Update and we'll make him like really like, use all the current lingo and stuff like that and make him like really like what a cool young person would be.
Yeah, that's just annoying SNL.
And then Kyle Mooney is Baby Yoda, does an annoying voice too. It's not funny.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Okay, so 8772 RadioU. Which of us chose better in today's first to worst of SNL recurring characters? And which picks did we miss? Yet again, Allie, your choices were...
For first, I went with Matt Foley, played by Chris Farley. For worst, I went with the acting teacher, played by Marcelo Hernandez.
And I have Debbie Downer for first and Baby Yoda on Weekend Update for worst. Let us know your thoughts. We are doing first to worst. Allie and I picking our first and worst Saturday Night Live recurring characters. Allie, your choices were?
I went with Matt Foley, played by Chris Farley, as first, and I went with the acting teacher, played by Marcelo Hernandez, as worst.
And I have Debbie Downer as the best, and I have Baby Yoda on Weekend Update as the worst. And the texts are coming in. Let us know your thoughts, who chose better, and which picks did we miss? 8772 RadioU. Regina says, I haven't seen a lot, but I watched the special at the beginning of the season And Debbie Downer cracked me up, and I love how the rest of the cast can't keep a straight face.
Yeah, that's a famous skit for how many people crack in that one.
And what's crazy, they brought it back for the 50th anniversary, and in a way, it's not the first time they've done the character, of course, and you know what's coming, and you still can't make it.
Yep.
She says, due to my lack of knowledge of other characters, and I'm going with the Hunt Father. Thank you for your vote, Regina.
We heard from William this morning. He says he's going with me, Allie. He says he loves the Chris Farley sketches, and he hasn't really seen much recent SNL.
I think I went for a while where I didn't watch SNL. I thought it got pretty bad. I think it's kind of turned back up, though.
I did watch the Nate Bargatze episodes because those were hilarious, but yeah, am I a regular watcher of SNL anymore? I'm not.
Definitely not on Saturday nights.
No.
But for the YouTube, I would definitely check in on the YouTube pretty frequently. Brandon says, this one is a tie to me. I agree with Allie on the first and Hudson for the worst. Thank you, Brandon, for your fair judgment.
We heard from Desiree this morning. This is a great text from her. She goes, just 2 words. Wayne's World.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many choices for best. And for probably worst, too.
Yeah.
But Wayne's World is really good.
Well, and I told you when we picked this topic, I feel like I really struggle to pick a first because I feel like I love Debbie Downer. I feel like there's so many options I could have chose. Gap Girls, one of my favorite recurring sketches as well, and that's also Chris Farley, David Spade, Adam Sandler. Again, that's probably my favorite era of SNL. And so it's really hard for me to pick because I feel like I'm snubbing somebody by just picking one. But I had to go with Matt Foley because that's what first got me interested in SNL. So, yeah.
Let's see. Susanna says, the only one of these I know and like is Debbie Downer, so I guess I'm Team Hudson this week. And I always like the Kristen Wiig character that one-ups everyone, plus Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan.
Stefan, also Jesse mentioned Stefan as well.
Yeah, he's a great recurring character, Bill Hader.
And talk about a character that he can't himself keep a straight face doing
that was the whole thing with him putting his hands in front of his face. It started because he couldn't keep a straight face.
Because John Mulaney would write those and write surprising lines that he didn't know were
coming. Yeah. Chad's pulling out a classic here. He says his best recurring characters, the super fans, Da Bears.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
He's going with you, Hudson, because he thinks you did have the worst with the Baby Yoda.
I'm glad everybody's on that same page.
I haven't even seen that Baby Yoda one.
But it's one of those ones where like you're watching it at home and it sucks, but the audience eats it up every time.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes you just do like current phrases, I feel like, and it's a, pandering is how I would probably view it. Dave says his favorite is Celebrity Jeopardy with Sean Connery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is a classic.
That is a throwback. They've brought back a lot of those Jeopardy skits. Like that's a recurring skit theme, I think, for them. You read Susanna's text.
Yes.
Nicole's text, I don't think we've read. She says, I never watched a ton, but I love Chris Farley, and what I have seen is usually him, so I'm going with Allie.
All right. And then Chad says, I think I have to go with Hudson on this one solely because of his worst.
I read Chad's text.
Oh, sorry. But did you say, yeah, you did. I'm sorry.
I did forget the part where he said he also liked Christopher Walken's The Continental and Joe Pesci show.
Okay. But his reminded me, though, some of the honorable mentions, and there's so many to get to, but I love the Bill Brasky sketches. Usually with Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell, and they're all reminiscing about Bill Brasky, which is always good. I love What Up With That, with where Keenan is like the show host, and Bill Hader's Lindsey Buckingham, and he never gets to say anything.
Yep.
What Up With That?
I think Fred Armisen's been in some of those, right?
Yeah. A lot of times he's a dancer or plays the saxophone or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I love Fred Armisen. We got a text. We don't have a name for this one, but they pointed out if you haven't seen the Colombian Coffee Crystals Chris Farley skit, you should on YouTube. It's amazing. So I guess that's a vote for me because it's Chris Farley.
Sure, I'll count it. I feel like I still won, but sometimes it's like, how has it made it for 50 years when sometimes it can be so bad? Because sometimes it can be so good.
It's true.
And this is a reminder
Watch
of that.
the Nate Bargatze measurement skits. They're so funny.
What did you want to be when you grew up? 8772 Radio U. For Luke Parkhurst, it was a stay-at-home son. And after giving up his 6-figure job as a door-to-door solar salesman, He's finally accomplished his goal.
He's living at home.
He is a stay-at-home son. Some call him a trad son or a hub son.
I feel like a trad son is a little disingenuous because
Yeah.
the traditional thing to do is to move out.
There's nothing traditional about this at all. But he's not the only one. This is apparently a growing trend of younger men that continue or move back in with their parents, particularly their moms, and get to live rent-free without a job in exchange for doing all the housework, the cooking, the cleaning, sometimes the entertaining in some cases of the mom and her friends. And they are being called hub sons.
I hate this. I hate the idea of this. It makes me a little uncomfortable. More than a little uncomfortable. Actually, a lot uncomfortable. And mainly, my gripe is with the name. Hub Sons.
Hub Sons, okay.
I don't like that. It's given boy mom. You know, the toxic boy mom thing where it's like the mom that's a little too clingy to her son. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the son's getting married and she's like a monster-in-law to the new wife or the girlfriend.
She just can't give him up.
Yeah. It's a little creepy.
Well, this man chose in this case, and in many cases, like these are people that are choosing to go back to their moms.
Just because they're choosing it doesn't make it right.
Well, who's getting harmed?
It's not that I think somebody's getting harmed. It's just the whole concept of like somebody viewing themselves in that like husband role, and it's the son. You know?
Yeah, but even hub son is kind of like typically the husband is not always the one doing all of the cooking and cleaning.
No,
so even that the name just really doesn't add up.
I was gonna say, is this guy not working at all anymore?
He's not working. He gave up he lives at home rent free.
He's just completely doing nothing other than like basically being like a homemaker.
He is the housekeeper. He is a trad wife, but he's not
like a butler.
married. And except butlers would get paid, right?
Well, I mean, he's getting paid in room and board.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I wonder what happens when he goes out, if he goes out. Like, does he just have his mom's credit card?
Does he not have a life? Like, he doesn't have any money? Like, I'm assuming he has savings if he had a 6-figure job.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an interesting, I mean, I get wanting to like, especially if your parents are older, maybe you move them into your house, you help them out because they just can't take care of stuff at home anymore. But this guy's 34. His mom's not that old.
Taking care of your parents can be a full-time job when they get on in years.
Yeah, but I mean,
this guy's just got a head start on that.
From the pictures we're seeing here, his mom seems to be doing just fine.
That's because she has no stress. Because
she definitely doesn't.
He takes care of it all for her.
She's stress-free. But I mean, I also don't.
This picture, is he wearing his mom's apron?
I think he is. It's really over the top, and I think they did it on purpose because they had a photo shoot. But
yeah, this guy particularly had. But he's not the only one. Like there was a guy on Jeopardy earlier this year that is in the same situation.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know this has been a growing trend where, you know, it's been a kind of an insult of like, oh, you live in your parents' basement or whatever. This is at least better. They're doing household chores and they're helping out.
He's not mooching.
No.
He's not taking advantage of or refusing to, get his own life.
Right. This is a step up. But what I do usually see when people are living back at home, it's to get ahead financially because they're still working. And it's like, I just need a little bit of time when I'm not paying rent. I get that entirely because rent is out of control right now. But for him to be like, nope, I'm just giving up my job and this is what I want to do full time. That part is a little bit like, okay.
Yeah, but can we back up to the fact that he was making 6 figures as a door-to-door solar salesman?
Those solar salesmen can make a lot of money.
I guess you got to pay somebody a lot to do something so stupid.
Well, yeah, the solar stuff is expensive, so imagine how much you're getting on commission if you're a good salesman.
I guess so. Tonight is a huge night because finally the hockey season starts. For Allie and I, anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say, the hockey season started a couple of days ago. But for our teams, we finally get to see them play.
A few teams, or at least one, already has played twice when the season started on Tuesday, and they had to go back-to-back. That's tough. But the Blue Jackets for you and the Sabres for me play their first games tonight. How are you feeling about the hockey season? Like, first of all, obviously I'm a big hockey fan, and I'll be following very closely. How invested are you in hockey this year?
The most invested I've been.
Really? And why is that?
I don't know. I think a part of it is my little cousin Max is playing hockey now.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is his second year playing, third year maybe. He's about to start his season. He's practicing right now, and I have his schedule. I'm hoping to go to as many games as I can. But I'm getting more invested and interested in hockey because of that. But I think there's twofold reasons as far as why I'm actually interested in watching the NHL season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it is because I loved the USA versus Canada that we got last year.
Yeah,
that
the Four Nations.
The Four Nations face-off was a lot of fun, and it got me really interested in hockey. And I had always kind of had a peripheral interest because I was watching the Blue Jackets and kind of seeing how they would do, and if they were in the playoffs, I would watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, CBJ started to make a push, which was really exciting because if you know the tragedy surrounding the Blue Jackets, they obviously lost their best player, Johnny Gaudreau, to a terrible tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see that team rally and potentially have a shot at making the playoffs, it was really exciting. And so I think those are the two main reasons why I'm actually interested in watching the Blue Jackets this year, not just like watching the standings, actually tuning into the games.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to hearing some of your reports on the games.
I know. I'm still really new to hockey. I feel like my expertise in hockey is like the Mighty Ducks, and that's about it.
Okay.
You know?
Well, that's still better than a lot of people. But the Blue Jackets, they were close to the playoffs last year.
So close.
This year, another year of seasoning for a very young team.
Yeah.
They could definitely make it there. I'm hoping the same thing for my Sabres because we have the longest playoff drought in all of hockey.
Yeah.
Also a very young team, but at some point, they've been a very young team forever because they keep having early draft picks and no reason to keep around old players.
Right.
On a team that's far from the playoffs. So hopefully, though, this year, I think they stand a chance. And hockey, here's my thing with hockey, though. I will say that it is much more right now. The problem with hockey is that it's so the same teams at the top. Like the criticism that a lot of people don't like for the years it was college football. Like it's always just Alabama, Ohio State. And
right now it's like it's the Panthers and no one else.
Yeah, in hockey, we had the same finals back-to-back years.
Yeah.
And the same teams this year. Like it would be a shock if one of like 5 teams didn't win the championship, which I'm picking the Avalanche to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Colorado.
the Avalanche will win.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's not Avalanche, Oilers, Knights.
I was going to say, I was thinking Edmonton because I feel like they are going to be so motivated after how the finals went this past season.
Yeah, and now the Panthers, they've had a lot of injuries already, and which makes sense. They've been in the finals the last couple of years and had the Four Nations face-off too. Like their players are just getting worn out. They played so much hockey.
Yeah.
So they should still be in the playoff picture, but maybe they won't be quite as dominant this year.
Does this season overlap with the Winter Olympics at all?
Yes.
I was going to say,
they're finally taking a break, and this year we will get NHL players at the Olympics.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.